My name is Levi Barton, and I worked with Scott Sablehouse, Eric Peters, and Andrew Hosman to come up with a game idea we call Mini Flyer. The game Mini Flyer is a 3D aerial arcade game where the goal is to achieve the highest score possible. To achieve this goal, you will navigate around a planet, collecting coins, items, or power-ups, and dodging or destroying environmental objects or other enemies. The plane or ship will be constantly moving, and the player will be in control of the change of direction and the speed. We as a group have previous experience working with developing projects, and we are going to use that experience to design this game. As far as coming up with the idea went, it went pretty well. We didn't need too many brainstorming techniques or sessions. We just kind of threw out some ideas in our group chat and came to a consensus on what we felt was a solid game idea that was reasonable and that we could all enjoy working with. We all had input, and we all had any suggestions for the game, and those were considered for the idea of it. The developing of the game will be done in Unity, and game object assets will be designed in Blender or ProBuilder. Our roles are myself as the developer of the game, Scott Sablehouse as the asset designer, Eric as the sound and user interface designer, and Andrew as the project manager. The art assets from our game, like the style of the game and the objects in the game, will be a mix of developer art assets and free use licensed assets from the Unity asset store. The music that we use will be free use licensed music, and there's potential for us to create our own music or have somebody else make the music for us. We will make our own sound effects for the game. The software that we use for the game will be a mix of our own programming and open source licensed software, which will be written in C# and in Visual Studios using the Unity game engine. Our general timeline is to have a complete pen and paper prototype done by the March 13th so that we can figure out what we want the player to be able to do and what kind of things the player should interact with. By March 23rd, we should have basic gameplay and stand-in assets added to the game so we can figure out what things we need to adjust before we add stuff to make it look pretty. By the 30th of March, we want to complete an early stage demo design. By the 3rd of April, we want to be done developing any new assets and done with the actual programming of it. We want to add user interface, so we have a score, menus, a pause button, and a sound option. And by the 10th of April, we need to finish a playable demo.